Welcome back to my channel Celebuzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Tony Jaa is undeniably one of the most iconic martial arts stars in the history of cinema. His explosive breakthrough came with the 2003 film Ong-Bak, Muay Thai Warrior, a movie that didn't just entertain but redefined the entire action genre. It introduced audiences worldwide to a raw, visceral style of fighting that felt both authentic and thrilling. Yet, despite his towering success and international acclaim, recent rumors about Tony Jaa facing a life imprisonment sentence have sent shockwaves through his fanbase. These claims seem unbelievable, and as you dive deeper into the story behind the headlines, the truth turns out to be stranger and more complicated than anyone could have imagined. So before you scroll away, stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll get the full picture of how one of the most beloved action heroes found himself entangled in such a dramatic and extreme situation. Tony Jaa's troubles didn't begin with any criminal act or scandal, but rather with a tangled web of contracts and corporate control. Early in his career, the Thai film company Sahamongkol Film International played a pivotal role in launching Jaa to stardom. However, this relationship soon soured due to the oppressive nature of the contracts Jaa was forced to sign. In 2003, just as his career was starting to soar, he agreed to a 10-year contract with Sahamongkol that, at first glance, might seem like a typical industry deal. But beneath the surface, the terms were restrictive to the point of suffocation. The agreement bound him exclusively to the company, preventing him from taking on projects elsewhere without their explicit permission. And the pay? A mere $1,600 a month. Think about that. Here was a man starring in blockbuster films that earned millions worldwide, yet he was compensated at a fraction of what even average office workers make. Meanwhile, the studio raked in profits off his talents, while Jaa remained trapped in a contract that stifled his ability to expand his career beyond Thailand. At the time, Jaa probably trusted the company that made him a star and didn't fully grasp the long-term consequences. But as his fame spread across Hollywood and other international markets, the restrictions became unbearable. Directors from around the world, Hollywood, Hong Kong, China, wanted to cast him, eager to showcase his incredible skills to their audiences. Yet every opportunity was blocked by Sahamongkol. They refused to negotiate or even consider letting him work on projects outside their purview. It was as if he was tethered on a short leash, constantly reminded that his allegiance belonged solely to them. For someone whose craft is all about freedom of movement and creative expression, this must have felt suffocating and deeply frustrating. The situation escalated dramatically when the original contract term neared its end in 2013. Tony Jaa believed he was finally free to pursue new horizons, but Sahamongkol had other plans. They claimed the contract had been renewed for another decade, until 2023. The twist? The renewal notice wasn't sent directly to Jaa, but to his estranged sister, who lived far away in Surian, Thailand. Without Jaa's consent or even knowledge, she signed the document. This maneuver left Jaa effectively trapped in a contract he never agreed to extend. It was a move so outrageous it seemed almost unbelievable. Frustrated and feeling exploited, Jaa labeled the whole situation business slavery and sought legal help. His lawyers fought to declare the renewal invalid, arguing the original contract had expired and the extension was forged without his approval. What followed was a legal battle that would drag on and complicate his career for years to come. The drama reached a boiling point with Jaa's role in Fast and Furious 7. This was a major opportunity, his long-awaited Hollywood debut, a chance to break free from being known only as Thailand's action star and to gain global recognition. However, Sahamongkol wasn't willing to let him capitalize on this moment. They publicly condemned him, holding a press conference to accuse him of breach of contract, and filed a lawsuit against not just Jaa, but also Universal Pictures and United International Pictures, demanding a staggering $49 million. Their claim? They had invested heavily in building Jaa's career, and now that he was cashing in on their efforts, they wanted a hefty share. They even added a 7.5% interest fee to the suit, just to pile on. This wasn't just a typical lawsuit. It was a targeted attempt to block Jaa from advancing in Hollywood. The legal battles took a toll not only on Jaa's Hollywood prospects, but also on his projects back home. The court even issued an order preventing Furious 7 from being released in Thailand, effectively barring Thai audiences from seeing a global hit starring their national hero. The restrictions also jeopardized several of Jaa's other films, including Skin Trade with Dolph Lundgren and SPL 2, A Time for Consequences. Another project, A Man Will Rise, was derailed entirely and remains unfinished. His 2013 film, Tom Yum Gung 2, flopped at the box office, in part because Jaa refused to promote it amid all the legal chaos. The lawsuit and contract disputes drained his energy, his time, and his creative momentum. Years when he should have been consolidating his position as one of the world's top martial arts stars were lost to courtroom battles and corporate fights. Then, in a surprising turn of events in July 2015, Sahamongkol suddenly dropped the $50 million lawsuit. Nobody outside the inner circle knows exactly what negotiations took place behind the scenes, but Jaa later announced that the two parties had reached a settlement and agreed to end all legal actions against each other. While the details remain confidential, this settlement finally gave Jaa his freedom. Though he never served prison time, this legal saga undeniably put a deep dent in his career trajectory. The critical years when Jaa should have been riding the wave of his early success, starring in major international productions and expanding his global brand, were instead consumed by legal fights and contractual chains. After this dark chapter, Tony Jaa was able to move forward. He returned to work on international films and took on larger roles, finally gaining the freedom to shape his career on his own terms. Yet his story serves as a stark cautionary tale for any aspiring star. It's a harsh reminder that no matter how talented or hardworking someone is, a bad deal can turn a dream career into a nightmare. The entertainment industry's biggest battles often don't happen on screen. They happen behind closed doors in legal offices, in contract negotiations, and in boardrooms where power and money dictate the rules. For Tony Jaa, the wrong contract nearly cost him everything. His journey to stardom might seem like a fairy tale, but when you look beneath the surface, it's clear that it was a roller coaster ride full of challenges, setbacks, and near disasters. Despite his undeniable talent and electrifying on-screen presence, Tony Jaa faced battles that had nothing to do with martial arts choreography or stunt work. His toughest opponents were the legal and business hurdles he had to overcome. Hurdles that threatened to end his career before it really began. One of the most ambitious chapters in his career was his decision to direct Ong-Bak 2. After the massive success of the original film, it seemed like the natural next step. Tony Jaa wasn't just content to be a star. He wanted to prove himself as a director and creative force. But the experience was overwhelming. The budget started at 100 million baht, a significant amount for a Thai film, but production quickly spiraled out of control. Costs skyrocketed, with the budget swelling to over 300 million baht as filming dragged on. Jaa was pulled in every direction, juggling multiple demanding roles, directing, starring, choreographing fight scenes, and even managing his own production company, Iyara Film. It was an enormous amount of responsibility for one person, and it soon became apparent that he was drowning under the pressure. People involved in the production began to notice the strain. What started as a promising project soon turned into a financial and creative nightmare. The enormous budget overruns and production delays reflected not just on the film itself, but also on Jaa's ability to manage such a massive undertaking alone. Despite his drive and passion, the experience left scars and slowed his momentum. It was a harsh lesson about the complexities of filmmaking, beyond just performing spectacular stunts and fights. This phase of Tony Jaa's career highlights the difficult path of a star trying to transition from performer to filmmaker, while simultaneously battling restrictive contracts and legal disputes. It's a story of talent met with adversity, ambition met with obstacles, and resilience tested by forces beyond the camera lens. Yet through it all, Tony Jaa's commitment to his craft and his refusal to be broken by these challenges speaks to the heart of what makes him such an enduring figure in the world of martial arts cinema. Akara Paul Jo Techarathana Prasert, whose family owned Sahamongkol, the studio backing Ong-Bak 2, revealed just how much pressure Tony Jaa was under during production. Jaa wasn't just stressed, he was overwhelmed to the point that he needed time off just to figure out the martial arts sequences for the film's climactic scenes. This wasn't a minor delay or a routine hiccup. It was a full-blown production meltdown. The budget was spiraling out of control, and Jaa was struggling to balance the intense demands of directing, choreographing, and acting. The entire project was literally hanging by a thread. Then, out of nowhere, Tony Jaa vanished. This disappearance wasn't the kind of dramatic Hollywood-style exit with press conferences or official announcements. One day in June 2008, he was on set, and the next day, gone. No one could reach him. His phone was switched off, leaving the production team in chaos. Naturally, rumors ran wild. Was he injured? Kidnapped? Did he suffer a mental breakdown? Nobody knew. Even his mentor, the legendary stuntman Pana Ridikrai, went looking for him in meditation caves, hoping maybe Jaa had retreated to clear his mind. But for weeks, there was no sign of him. The entire Thai film industry was puzzled, and his sudden disappearance only deepened the troubles Ong-Bak 2 was already facing. Finally, a Thai newspaper tracked him down. The truth was surprising, but heartbreaking. He wasn't hurt or in hiding. He was in what was described as a safe house, utterly exhausted and frankly defeated. It turned out Tony Jaa had personally paid some production costs out of his own pocket, and now he was broke. He couldn't even pay his mortgage, and his electricity had been cut off. The financial disaster was real, and it wasn't just impacting his career. It was destroying his personal life in ways no one outside the industry truly understood. Even after resurfacing and attempting to push forward, things only got tougher. Sahamongkol took control of the film, and Prachaping Kayu, the director of the original Ong-Bak, was brought in to finish the project. To recover their investment, the studio made the controversial decision to split Ong-Bak 2 into two separate films, Ong-Bak 2 and Ong-Bak 3. This move killed the story's flow, leaving both movies feeling disjointed and incomplete. For Jaa, this was a devastating creative blow. What was supposed to be his passion project, his big directorial debut, was now completely out of his hands. By this point, the pressure was unbearable. Tony Jaa had faced financial ruin, ruthless industry politics, and a grueling production process that left him utterly drained, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So, in May 2010, he made a drastic choice. He walked away from the film industry entirely and became a Buddhist monk. Yes, he literally left it all behind, choosing peace and spiritual reflection over the chaos that had consumed his life. It was a shocking move, but honestly, who could blame him? After everything he had been through, he needed an escape. Of course, Jaa didn't stay in the monastery forever. He eventually returned to acting. But even then, his struggles continued. His contract with Sahamongkol still held him back, restricting his opportunities and making it difficult to fully capitalize on his international fame. Despite all this, Tony Jaa remains a legend in the martial arts world, a reminder that success isn't always as glamorous as it appears on screen. Tony Jaa spent years honing his body and skills to become one of the most dangerous fighters in Hollywood. But now he's fighting a different battle, his life's narrative. How did the star of Ong-Bak and The Protector allegedly end up serving a life sentence? What went wrong for a man once on top of the world? Was he caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was something from his past finally catching up with him? Stick around, because when you hear the real story behind Tony Jaa's supposed downfall, you'll never look at his films the same way again. If you've been scrolling through social media lately, you might have seen posts claiming that Tony Jaa, the legendary Ong-Bak star, is serving a life sentence in prison. Sounds unbelievable, right? But for many who saw those posts, it was enough to cause serious confusion. And honestly, in today's world where misinformation spreads faster than the truth, it's no surprise. So let's set the record straight. Tony Jaa is not in prison, has never been in prison, and definitely is not serving a life sentence. Where did this bizarre rumor come from? Like many celebrity rumors, it began with a simple misunderstanding. People mixed up Tony Jaa's movie roles with real life. The route seems to be Killzone 2, also known as SPL2, A Time for Consequences, a 2015 film where Jaa played a prison guard. The plot centers on an undercover cop caught double-crossed and thrown into a Thai prison under a false identity. Somehow this storyline got twisted into claims that Tony Jaa himself was locked up. When Tony Jaa took a break from the spotlight for a while, it only fueled more speculation. At one point, he even became a Buddhist monk. But here's the thing. Spending time as a monk is a common tradition in Thailand. It wasn't a drastic life change, and it definitely wasn't an escape from anything. Many Thai men do this at some point, but the internet, as always, spun whispers into rumors. Did he quit acting? Is he hiding from something? Soon those rumors snowballed into claims that he had left the entertainment industry for good, and then somehow that morphed into, he must be in prison. If you take just 2 minutes to fact-check, you'll find zero evidence of Tony Jaa ever serving prison time. No news articles, no trusted reports, nothing. His IMDb page is packed with new projects, and major news outlets are covering his upcoming films, not any jail sentence. If he were locked up for life, don't you think it would be headline news? What we do know is that Tony Jaa has faced some legal troubles in the past, but nothing jail-worthy. And on the personal front, he's thriving. Married to longtime girlfriend Piara Chotiwatananont since 2012 with 2 daughters, he lives a normal, free life. Follow him on social media and you'll see a man picking and choosing his projects, spending time with family, and staying active in the martial arts world. The takeaway? People will believe almost anything if it's shared enough times. The Tony Jaa prison rumor is a perfect example of how easily movie plots can be mistaken for reality. And if you think about it, for an action star known for intense roles, there will always be someone who confuses fiction with fact. But the truth is, Tony Jaa isn't behind bars. He's out there, doing what he does best, proving again why he's one of the most iconic action stars ever. Tony Jaa is far from slowing down. If anything, he's proving he's still a powerhouse in action cinema. In 2023, he appeared in The Expendables 4 as Dacha, because let's face it, when you have an explosive star-studded franchise, how could you not include Tony Jaa? And then there's Striking Rescue, a Chinese martial arts film where he stars as Ong-Bak, a Muay Thai expert on a brutal revenge mission after his wife and daughter are murdered. If that doesn't scream classic Tony Jaa, what does? This film marked his return as a lead in martial arts cinema after years in supporting roles. Not that he wasn't impressive in those. He played Jack Jaa in Detective Chinatown 3, 2021, and took on the role of Hunter in Monster Hunter 2020, proving he knows how to make an impact even in Hollywood blockbusters. But don't think he's just resting on past success. His upcoming projects show he's still pushing boundaries. The most exciting? A massive Muay Thai film trilogy backed by Stars Collective and Thailand's film Odyssey Cumberlandite. This time, Jaa isn't just starring, he's stepping into an executive producer role. He'll play Surya, a young gifted fighter who somehow travels back in time to the Ayutthaya period. Seriously, a Muay Thai time travel story? That sounds amazing, fresh, yet true to Jaa's high-impact style. And honestly, who else but Tony Jaa could pull that off? But Jaa isn't just about movies. He knows staying connected with fans is just as important, which is why he has a strong social media presence, especially on YouTube. If anyone doubts his relevance, just watch his latest work and then try saying otherwise. Because if there's one thing Tony Jaa has always done, it's prove people wrong, with a roundhouse kick when necessary. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. To keep the thrill going, click on the next video popping up on your screen right now.